Peter Ferrara is on the line with us. He is a senior fellow with the Carleson Center for Public Policy, theccpp.org. And Peter, welcome back.
Glad to be here.
Okay, the GOP's real motives for cutting Social Security. In my opinion, the real reason the Republican Party and people like Pete Peterson, this Wall Street billionaire, have spent hundreds of millions of dollars. Pete Peterson just personally spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to get Social Security privatized is that there's $2.7 trillion sitting in that trust fund, and they would love to get their hands on it.
Well, there's no actual money in the trust fund. This trust fund is just a statement of legal authority that the federal government has to draw from general revenues to pay Social Security benefits in the future, in addition to payroll tax revenues.
So you don't put any money into Treasury bonds or Treasury bills because you don't believe that that's real money?
Well, that's the federal government says that. It's the federal government repeatedly says that over and over. There's no money in that trust fund. You have to turn those bonds into the federal government. And the federal government has to come up with the money in order to pay Social Security benefits based on those bonds.
Okay,
There's no money in the trust fund that can be used for anything.
So I'm holding a $1 bill here in my hand, and it says Federal Reserve note at the top. This is an obligation not of the United States government, but of the Federal Reserve. Does that mean that I don't have real money?
The Social Security trust funds do not hold those $1 bills.
Okay. So if I go out and I buy, a $1,000 Treasury bill, do I not have what I'm going to get is a piece of paper that says basically the federal government owes you $1,000. Thank you for investing, and plus a little bit of interest. Do I not have something that's worth $1,000?
The Social Security trust fund does not go out and buy Treasury bonds or Treasury bills. So they don't go out and buy Treasury bonds.
Then why is the Social Security Trust Fund listed as part of the U.S. government's debt? Why is it listed?
It's part of the gross federal debt. It's not part of the. Because it's a statement of the legal authority that Social Security has to draw from general revenues in the future. So it is part of the gross federal debt. So when there's a surplus in Social Security every year, what Social Security does with that surplus, there's no more surpluses, but when there were,
right,
they wouldn't take that and save it in the trust fund. And they wouldn't even go out and buy government bonds with the money. It'd be a far better deal if they did that, but that's not what they do. They give that surplus to the federal government, and the federal government spends that surplus.
No, George Bush actually pulled those bonds out of a drawer and waved at them and said, "Look, they're just paper, just like they're slightly different, but very similar to the bonds that he was born with when he was born a millionaire."
They don't go out in the market and buy bonds. What they do is they give the surplus.
They buy them from the federal government.
They give the surplus to the federal government. The federal government spends that money, so that money's gone. And they get back from the government a notation that says...
As you know, Peter, right now, the Social Security Administration is redeeming those bonds.
Do you want to know or not how it works?
I do know how it works.
Okay. No, you don't know how it works, and I'm explaining to you how it works. The government gives them back a note, says, when you need the money, you call us, and we'll give it back to you.
Yes, that note is called a Treasury bill.
It's not a Treasury bill. They spend the money.
There's special ones for Social Security, but they're basically Treasury bills. They're debts against the U.S. Treasury. Are you saying that if I'm a defense contractor and the federal government says we want you to build an F-35, we're going to pay you $300 million, and I've got a contract that says I'm going to be paid $300 million, that because I haven't got that in stacks of $1 bills, that I don't actually have money from the federal government, or and I'm not going to get money from the federal government?
Can you spend that?
I'll bet I could. I could probably borrow against it. I could go to a bank and I could say,
if you borrowed against it, you could spend it, but you can't spend it. Just like there's nothing to spend in the Social Security Trust Fund at all. In order to get the money that's
this is fascinating logic.
In order to get the money that's in the Social Security Trust Fund, the federal government will have to raise taxes or borrow additional money.
Okay, so let me get this, Peter. Let me see if I'm following this right. If I go to the bank and say I want to buy a house. And, I want to buy this house for $500,000. Please give me $500,000. The bank writes a $500,000 check to me. I give that to the person who owns the house. The bank gives me a contract that says I owe the bank $500,000. When the bank comes to me and says we want some money, I can say, I just have a contract. I don't have money here. I don't have any money to give you. This is just a contract that says I owe you money.
The bank can't spend the money you owe them until you pay them.
Right.
Just like the Social Security Trust Fund cannot spend the money they're owed until the federal government pays them.
So we can just all tell the banks to take a leap.
They have exactly $0.0 in that trust fund, and they cannot pay anything out of that until they raise taxes.
Then how are they paying right now?
Money. What?
How are they paying right now? The trust fund is going down right now.
The incoming payroll tax revenues, and all the benefits are paid out of those incoming payroll tax revenues. And because
not all of them, Peter. You know this. I mean, I know that you know this. That $2.7 trillion has become $2.6 trillion.
Because there's a deficit, now the Social Security Administration takes bonds for that deficit and sends it to the government and says, okay, we need to cash it in. But they can't spend it until the government goes out and gets it. The government doesn't have any money in the trust fund. The government has to raise
at a certain level, Peter. Peter, this argument is sort of like a couple of Jesuits back in the 16th century arguing about how many angels will fit on the head of a pin. Let me ask the larger question here in the minute that we have left, and just
there's no money in there.
Genuinely want to toss this to you. Why? What's your philosophical opposition to old age disability, poverty insurance and disability insurance for all ages, which is what Social Security is?
I'm not opposed to. I want higher benefits for working people, and the only forms I propose benefit cuts in Social Security. The only forms I support are forms that will increase benefits received by seniors rather than reduce them.
And privatizing Social Security would do that?
Yes, it would do that. Yes.
Handing this over to Wall Street.
Yeah, because you'd have savings and investment.
Because those guys at HSBC that just paid $1.7 billion in fines because they've been laundering money for narco-terrorists and for Middle Eastern terrorists, the guys who knocked down the 9/11 towers, that bank, we should give them our Social Security money. I'm wondering why we shouldn't drop a drone bomb on that bank.
A lifetime of savings and investment will always pay you more than a lifetime of no savings and investment, which is what Social Security is. It's your personal choice. If you think
it's insurance,
robbers, you just stay with the crooks and robbers that are in Washington.
It is insurance.
All the money out of Social Security Trust Fund and spend it.
It is insurance.
If they're more reliable, you just depend on them. I wish you would.
It is.
I hope you get that choice, and I hope you make the wrong choice.
Okay. Well, Peter, you're personalizing this a lot. I wish you the very best and happy holidays, Peter. Thanks for being with us.
Bye.